Item C, consideration of the theater group's request to close streets for August 15th. Oh, excuse me, I forgot D. Consideration of adjusting pool guard salaries for 2008. I'll give you a little background here. Mike came and we had a committee meeting. Mike and Jim and Adam and myself. And Mike brought forth some information that we discussed, and we came up with a 35-cent raise for the upper portion of the guards as far as their tenure, and a 15-cent for the lower. And he brought it to our attention that he has cut some hours in the evening so that this stays well within the budget, because the salaries we're not paying out as much as we were to begin with. I would ask you if you had any questions about it. There is an explanation in here. If you'd like to discuss it, that's fine. Go right ahead.
I think, did you say, I think it's the other way around. I might have heard you wrong, but I think the way it looks here, it's the lower salaries are getting bigger raise.
Oh, excuse me, you're right, because we're trying to keep them on. We're
Yeah,
trying,
I'm
the
not
whole
sure.
discussion was around trying to keep our guards over a longer period of time, because we get them started and then they go off to another job because they can make more money. So I stand corrected.
So it's
Yes.
basically about a quarter. Like there.
You'll
They're
see
not about a quarter, basically.
the
35.
You'll see in the recommendation. You'll see the recommendation described a little more in detail on the memo. It's at the bottom of the first page. You'll see the recommendations for it to move to a 650, where our original one is right above it, which shows the 650. So you can compare what the current salary range is to the recommended out of the subcommittee discussion.
Mike, would you like to speak to this at all, since you're here at our meeting?
Not unless there's questions. You have a recommendation from that committee that we went and met, so.
I really think it's worth pointing out and appreciating that Mike put some hard work into reevaluating the efficiency of which he uses his guards to make this happen. Basically, as you mentioned, putting up a scenario where we found that the use of guards later in the day was not as necessary as during the earlier portions of the day, and by restaffing to more use times, we were able to find some cost savings that made this financially feasible.
How many are you staff in a day, Mike?
7.
7?
But later in the day, then we can staff 5, just because usage is going down.
One of the extreme concerns that was brought up during the committee meeting that I think would be worth the council recognizing is, Mike, 2 years ago you had how many guards?
20, over 20.
How many did you have last year?
19,
How many do you have this year?
14. And we're not the only ones in that. The water park and Storm Lake can't find enough people either.
Would you attribute that to the wages or lack of people interested?
Well, you can go to another, where Food Pride hires a lot of high school kids, and they start them at $7.25. And they don't need any training for that. So, when we talked in our committee meeting that, we'd like to keep them as guards here, because after this pool season's over, they'll have 9 months to go find other work, and if they would get a job up there, they'd probably get a 10-cent raise before we ever got to our pool season next year, which creates a little issue for finding people. And they do a good job. The staff really does a good job. So, I was just trying to find a way to make it well this year, and then next year we can all sit down and be better prepared for it next year than what we were this year.
As in October of this year or
Right,
November, we
yeah.
start our budget negotiations.
That was discussed.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion on all that in that committee group too, as to how that works. The pool's kind of a different deal with.
I did the same. I checked around a couple places that hired summer kids, and minimum wage is the going rate. So.
Of those 14, how many do you think you'll be retaining for next year?
12, maybe
12?
11. I hope. I'm hopeful.
What's the take, what would you consider the?
Well, we're thin right now, I mean, at 14.
Introduce some of the guards because they're playing baseball and stuff. some
Yeah, we
sports.
got all the sports kids
Yeah.
now,
That's another problem.
and
Have you certified John as lifeguard?
No.
Is there any other discussion or questions?
Just one other comment, just, I'd appreciate it if you'd take it back to the lifeguards, that we certainly appreciate the work that they do up there, even in view of the fact that they're working for, a little less than what they could elsewhere. And, and just the importance of what they do is extremely important. So even though we may not have been able to meet as much, financial needs as they would perhaps like, but at least we do appreciate, the work that they do. And I'd like you to mention that to all of them up there. I would assume I'm reflecting
I agree.
the rest of the council too.
and I will do that. I will
Okay.
do that, yes.
In light of that, are we ready to make
I'll make a motion to approve it as recommended.
is there a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
Call for a vote?
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Frederick,
Aye.
Hanson, Johnston,
Yes.
Muscat.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I'd
Moving
also
on.
like to compliment you on the report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if
Very
anybody
nice.
has questions afterwards or at any time, feel free to ask.
Thank you.